Hi there. My name is Ben Keys, and I'm just going to make a quick video to talk about cyber-dimensional escalated creation. I haven't really done a video on this. I've gone into some detail on it on the UMOSRA's website, and I've given a sort of mythical hint as to what cyber-dimensional escalated creation is about on the spacetm.uk website. But in more detail, it's important to elaborate on this to give an exact description of what cyber-dimensional escalated creation, or CDEC, is. So, firstly, as I hinted on the spacetm.uk website, it's a sort of coming together to a pinnacle of the two companies of SAFCOMS Limited and umosras.uk. So, the umosras reality is growing slowly alongside the security outfit, which is SAFCOMS Limited, which becomes ultimately spacetm.uk. SAFCOMS Limited becomes spacetm.uk, which ultimately is the program that puts in place the creative infrastructure that's going to lay out umosras and build up the pleroma so that the two can spearhead the whole operation and put into place the CDEC that should actually come into being as soon as the two are lined up in such a way that the assets of umosras are being channeled by the SpaceTM reality, and we are then in a position to upscale the whole process through basically the next phase, the cyber dimensional escalated creation phase itself, is the upscaling of the creation through the IPv6 network, or a hex configuration network that are built up on all three servers that I have and all the virtual machines that I have on each server. So that there is hex integration in the whole platform to enable the reality of the cyber dimensional escalated creation to work through the a so-called a version of the Internet of Things. I stress it's a version of the Internet of Things. It's not actually physically anything to do with the Internet of Things or individual objects in the existing legal infrastructure or the existing remit that they are created. So, for example, your phone or your Chromecast or your whatever it may be, your hub, your Amazon Alexa, whatever it may be, are not necessarily included in this IPv6 Internet of Things that I'm ranging in to configure as the physical manifestation of the cyber-dimensional escalated creation. So what this hex operation is going to do when it's put into place is going to knit into reality the whole pleroma that is the layering process of the umosras rebuild of the whole network, communications network, plus the pleramic network of the reality of the return of creation to this zone of England in Gloucestershire and Wales also, the zones around it. What this reality will actually become physically is a meshed, knitted creation that is woven in through our version of the Internet of Things that shall manifest the creation through tightly knitting the intricate connections between every single component within the structure of umosras. So if you like, not only will it be connecting up the communication systems, the security systems, and the commodity systems, the software systems, and everything else. It shall also be knitting together tightly the reality of the actual physical building and landscapes of the zone of umosras. So all the buildings will be knitted together. The creative substance will be knitted together through this IPv6 network, and it shall bind the reality and also insert the key element of this to do with the lifebook is that the platform will be conditioned with networks of tendrils that will enable the reality of the universe to be viewed on the viewing walls in the whole system of umosras, as I've expanded on in umosras functionality 2. So the reality, not only will the IPv6 system, our own version of the Internet of Things system, be able to, in each of these knitting processes, each of these knitting keys in the system, will be also microscopic cameras that will be able to partially travel to with a certain range within the system of Umosrus. So I'm not just talking about traveling from one side of Umosrus to another, little cameras, but they'll be able to pass on to the next camera. So the whole range of cameras that are knitted into the system, and be able to move slowly, if you think of an atomic lattice, So an atomic lattice is able to move slowly, and things are able to move apart with heat or contract. So either expands or contracts in a certain way. These little parts, the nucleus, the electron, and various aspects of the atom, do move depending on their nature and what part they play in it. They only move within a certain remit, a certain area of their particular zone of influence, if you like. So the whole IPv6 system will pass on to different IPv6 structures within the lattice of the whole Umosrus framework. And that way, the camera journeys in the lifebook will be able to be set up and show the reality of the universe that we are actually living in the first Umosrus platform. So that is the reality. That's what I'm setting up with the IPv6 system in our own Internet of Things. But it is more importantly a solid construction that shall knit the pleroma as it starts to build up from all zones of this world where the pleroma has dissipated to, and come ultimately to one exact location, which will then be able to structure and change the reality from the existing legal infrastructure into the legal organizational direction by simply knitting the pleroma into place into the existing legal framework of the reality, and also into the ether around the areas where the existing legal infrastructure is. To begin with, there'll be no physical substance, there'll just be air. But as these structures are knitted and constructed into the architecture design of the whole reality, then as the knitted reality passes the information and data through that people are starting to watch on the lifeboat and starting to interact with the cameras in the system as this builds up, then light shall travel through the system. The light web will construct the lattice system through the IPv6 system. And then as things start to change, the movement of these cameras will be embellished into the universal reality as the universal reality is injected through these, if you like, these camera portals throughout the system. Then as the full density of the universal infrastructure is put through our Internet of Things system, then the whole reality will then go through a second change of cyber dimensional escalation creation, or if you like, bit sort of CMAS hyphenation, I call it, which is the expansion of the whole reality. First of all, the change in reality, and then the expansion of the whole reality, the increase of the reality of the platform which will take place. And then the whole universal reality shall be before our eyes in the lifebook, and the physicality of Umosrus will take form in, this is where I say it'll happen in a flash. The whole configuration will be put in place through this bit construction, and then we'll have the whole thing suddenly take form in a sudden flash, which will suddenly be a permanent structure that cannot be moved or changed without directives from within the consoles that construct the reality of Umosrus and set up the whole Umosrus reality. And the whole reality should be a permanent construction that will hopefully last forever, for an eternity. That's the plan, because it has been robustly checked. It's been through many processes that have caused this eventuality to be possible. There is no end, no limit to the amount of time that the location will be able to stay in this place until it is called to pass as new, if you like, and a new reality comes into place. But this will go on for a long time, and should be the most permanent structure on Earth for a long time, until maybe third or fourth or fifth heaven, or sixth, eighth heaven perhaps, come into being, when another universal realm on Earth, which will suddenly become like an even more long-standing permanent structure on the planet. But this shall live long beyond the realms of eighth heaven, and shall ultimately become something that will be something of a bargaining chip between us and New Heaven. But I won't go on into the details of the whole universal construction. This is purely and simply how the cyber-dimensional escalated creation is going to come into place, and how long we expect it to last. So thanks for listening.